Audrey, when is the best time to prune?
Well, for these two types, paniculata and the arborescens, you can prune anytime late fall after they've defoliated, winter or spring, whenever it works into your schedule and the weather. So this wood is now from last year, so this is old wood, and this isn't going to produce the blooms. New wood is what produces the bloom. So we're going to take this off. It'd be best to get it done before anything buds out, before the leaves start growing. And the same would be for the arborescens. Macrophylla, which we'll come to later, has a different story because they bloom on some old and some new wood. So you have both old wood and new wood in the same shrub, and you will get new growth. And so those blooms, if you cut off the old wood, you're also cutting off the buds for the new flowers.
So, what are the tools that you use for pruning?
Well, we have several. I have a hand pruners here. There's a shears. That's a hand shears. Okay, so that's useful for certain things. The other, it's called a lopper. So these get, this can get bigger branches and stems than the pruner. I also have a really helpful, this is also a hedger or pruner. It will do the same thing that this does, but it's a lot easier if you have a bigger area. We also will need a saw. Different types are different for different people. This is the kind that's really portable and easy for us. That's called a hand saw. And when you get into the base of some of these and some of these branches, you need a bigger tool. You need a saw. Before I start doing anything, we'll give it a little sanitation. This is isopropyl alcohol. That's all we do. That is to prevent disease from spreading. If you had something here, it just sanitizes your tools. I've already done that with my hedger. I would do it with the lopper, and I would do it from shrub to shrub. So I'm going to go ahead and show you on this one, this particular kind. I want to keep a little bit of the structure for the new growth. The old wood, I want it to be a framework for the new to grow on and kind of support the new growth. So I'm going to cut right now about a foot.
How do you know how far down to cut?
For this, for the arborescens, about a foot if you want to keep that structure for the new growth to use. Like you might think of a trellis. So otherwise you can actually go 6 to 8 to 12 inches, somewhere in there. So if I just want to keep doing this for, all day long, we can do this one at a time. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm going to do an easier method because I have 138 more shrubs. So if you can just be safe. This is how I often do it. And then on the other side, and then any singles that are left you can hand prune. What that did is, besides it got it done quickly, they're all pretty even. It's a nice rounded shape. And I also have room to work on this paniculata.
So this was probably kind of a type of an Annabelle or comparable to an Annabelle.
Yes. This is Invincibelle.
Okay.
It's a great plant. It's a nice fill. It does have a tendency to take as much room as it wants. So in the next step, we'll take some of the paniculatas off. And I actually, for myself, I'm going to use this. We won't use the shears. Those are not necessary. Here I'm going to get rid of, it's as simple as that. So this is old wood, the new shoots that come out. We not only want to take these off to give room for the new growth, but we also don't want this to get misshapen or too tall. This side is a little taller than that side, so I actually am going to take a little bit more off this side than that side. And I didn't talk about the angle, tipping it so that when you cut the branch, that it has an angle to it, just about a 1/4 inch above the bud. And what that will do is let any moisture roll out. This has to harden into a callus and kind of heal itself.
So why do you want to cut it above a bud?
You want the new bud to actually grow into something. So if you cut it too close, it can damage the actual growing process. If you cut it too far, it leaves a stub. If we wanted to take this down and clean it up, so one thing I can do is to take this and get all these off so I can see the structure. And while I'm here, I'm also going to take this out because it's a little bit hard to see from there, but this, in the wind, it's rubbed against this branch and it created a wound. This is called a backwards facing branch. So this needs to go because it's causing damage. And there's no reason that I can't go back and say, oh, that one wasn't quite short enough for my shaping.
Audrey, sometimes on some of the Annabelle type, their blooms will flop so much.
Yes.
Can the pruning help with that?
Yes, there's two different kinds of pruning that you could do. One is to leave some of these stems as support, but also those bloom heads are so big. So if you were to say, if this was that big, you could take off some of that. These are made up of florets, so you can reduce the size and the weight without totally taking the whole head off. And that often works. If you have a really big rain, it's very windy, that's a challenge. Will always be a challenge, but that definitely will help.
Again, going back to an Annabelle type, a lot of times they turn green later on in the season.
Yes.
Why is that? And if you prune those green ones off, will the white ones come back?
Well, first question is, they turn green because that's natural. That's a maturing of the flower head. It's a common thing in flowers. So that color, it's normal. There's nothing wrong. And then as the whole plant shuts down for fall, that seed head will turn brown. So if you look at this collection, they're all brown. There's no chlorophyll left, and that's normal. If you cut those off, you're not going to get a huge amount of growth on that same branch. But in general, those will have new ones already coming up. So they might be partially full at that time. They would be white. So they're like staggered in their blooming. And you know, the thing about hydrangeas, some people love the look. They love the seed heads green. But if you're the kind of person that you'd like to clean it up and you want that seed head or that flower head to be gone and just tidy it up and get the fresh white coming, that's fine too. It doesn't hurt the plant, and the plant's going to keep going. If the seed head is turned from white to green, the goal of a plant is to reproduce itself. And so if the energy is being sent into creating seeds on those green heads, if that plant is trying to mature, it'd be better to cut those off so that the energy is sent to the white flower heads.
My sister loves to clean everything up in the fall.
Uh-huh.
Is that okay to do?
It sure is. You can clean up in the fall if you want to. You don't have to. A lot of people love the look for the winter. The macrophylla, it's best to just leave them alone from mid-August and after. You don't want to clean those up or you won't get blooms. You won't probably kill the plant, but you won't get your spring blooms that you were wishing for. You will get new growth and you will get new flowers on the new growth. But if you clean those macrophyllas up in the fall, you just cut down next year's flower heads.
What are the reasons for pruning?
If you had, say, an accident, a storm, and you had a big branch break, that would be a damage. You'd want to get rid of that because that branch, it's cracked open, it would be a place where disease or pests can get in and cause more of a problem. It's also unsightly to have a broken branch. So a damage, a disease. If you saw that, say this had some sort of disease, you'd want to prune that off. And the other would be if it's dead. And these dead, disease, and damage you can prune any time of the year. Just make sure you use your spray to sanitize your tools. And say it was March and this broke, or say it was August and it broke, you would want to take it off.
Okay. What if the critters get after them in the wintertime or in the spring?
Well, that happens. There isn't anything you can do to remedy that after the fact. You would want to put in your garden notes what you saw, you know, your phenology. What did you see? What happened? What do I need to do next October to prevent that? And usually it's like a stake and chicken wire. We have deer and rabbit here, so it depends on your pest.
Now, I have heard that there is a difference between shaping and rejuvenation. Can you explain that?
Sure. Well, actually, this is a really good example of shaping. I had to shape, like if you look at the overall form of this, it was a little high on this side, and sometimes branches do that. The sun's there, it gets a little more sun. That's a shaping. There are also elements in here where there are different branches going wrong ways. So I want to shape that. The rejuvenation would be if you have a little bit of an older shrub and it's gotten like leggy, it's a little too tall, and you want to clean it up and tighten it up, you just would cut the whole thing back to the same basic 6 to 8 inches above the ground. So, and then it gives a new fresh growth.
Okay. I have also seen that there's what used to be one plant all of a sudden is now much bigger.
Yes. Oftentimes, because hydrangeas, the way their roots grow, they will get underneath the mulch and they will spring up a new branch. We want to cut that, and otherwise what you're going to end up with is a really nice tree shape of a shrub. So you want to clean that up and really literally cut it, like dig away a little bit, cut it, and then dig it out.
You made this look so easy. This is going to be so great for our viewers.
And it was fun too. It was satisfying. If you have the right tools and you have good weather, it is kind of fun.